Hi guys, I'm Doritos, and today I'm going to be showing you guys some amazing 4-2-3-1 tactics that I've put together. The 4-2-3-1 is like an absolute forgotten formation. For years it's been like the go-to, the standard, the meta, and this year I literally don't see anybody using it whatsoever. I will overlay some clips of how the formation sort of plays in game while I'm talking, just so you get a better idea of what I'm saying. The 4-3-2 I know is like the formation everybody's using it at the minute, and I've just found it boring. It's kind of getting old. So I've put together these tactics which still utilizes that overlapping wing back. Because of the sort of instructions you can put on this formation, you're still able to win the ball high up the pitch, but you still get a lot of bodies back, but you still create those overloads in the attack. And with this formation having a centre attacking mid, which you don't get in the current meta, which is the 4-3-2-1, when you create that overlap, you're able to work the ball back into your cam, who always seems to be in the space, in the hole, where no defenders are picking them up. And I get so many goals off of that with this formation. It just feels so fluid. It just feels like there's constant passing options. But unlike the 4-3-2-1, I don't feel super exposed on the defence because of how many people you are able to get back with this. Getting into the tactics, the defensive style we're just going to have unbalanced. This is a standard this year. All the other ones aren't really worth touching. Only constant pressure if you're absolutely down and out, but you'll probably have a separate tactic for that anyway. For the defensive width, I've gone with 40. I did start this as 45, but I was finding that on the counter attack, the opponent was getting through the middle a lot. It felt like my centre backs were too spaced. So I have dropped this down to 40. That hasn't happened since. So 40 seems to be a sweet spot for this formation. The defensive depth I've actually placed a bit lower than what is quite common at this point in the game. 70 is a kind of hot number for the depth at the moment because you get the automatic offside traps. I've actually tried this formation with the 70 depth, and the more I use automatic offside traps, the more I don't like them. I find that when I drop this down to 60, I'm still able to manually play a high line, but I'm finding a lot more success in actually using the offside traps manually, which is where you do down on the D-pad twice. When I'm doing them manually, I'm choking the opponent high up the pitch and I'm winning the ball back a lot more than I am with the automatic ones. With these automatic ones, I just seem to get caught out a lot over the top. Build up play, we're going to just leave that unbalanced again. None of the others are really effective at all this year. This is something you just don't touch. Chance creation, change the record, I know. Direct passing, it pins the opponent back. It creates space for things such as travellas and just working the ball around the box. It is the one and only thing really worth considering here. So, as always, direct passing. For the width, we're going straight down the middle with this. I've tried higher width and I feel like I can't string passes together. I've tried narrow width and I feel like it just doesn't utilise the wide men in this formation enough, which is a real strong point of it. So stick with the 50 width for this. Players in the box, I've got on 4. That might seem a little bit low, but because I've got a few players, as you'll see when we get to the player instructions, unbalanced, you naturally get more bodies forward anyway, so you don't need to up this too high in order to actually get a lot of people involved in the attack. Keep this on 4. If you start putting it any higher with these tactics, you're going to find way too many people committing forward. Corners and free kicks. This is a new venture for me. I've actually upped this and I now have it on 3 for both. The reason I've had it on 3 for both is I've noticed that with corners and free kicks, I'm scoring a lot more off of them with this on higher. And I'm not actually getting countered as much as I thought I would with it being this high. I used to always have this on 1 or 2 at the absolute most, but I've put it up to 3 now. I'm still not getting counter attacked, but I'm getting more goals off of corners and free kicks. So that's where we're putting it. For the player instructions, we're going to start with the striker and we'll work our way back. So up top, we're going to go stay central, getting behind. This is a very, very common instruction for a striker. I find this particularly important if you've only got one striker, which we do in this formation. It just pushes on the 2 centre backs. It keeps them guessing, and also it threatens with runs in behind as well. Our left cam, we've got them on come back and defence and get into the box for cross. That's the same on both. This kind of just creates more offensive runs forward, and that paired with the stay central getting behind really does threaten the opportunity to put in German crosses as well. With the German crosses, the stay central getting behind on the strike, you'll find it is the most key, with those actually being an option to score. For our centre attacking mid, just get into the box for cross. We want them involved in the box on the attack as a cutback option. But naturally, with the defensive support, we don't want to drop to back too much because otherwise we're going to have too many players back and we're not going to have an out ball on the counter attack. Okay, so for our centre defensive mids, this is going to be a little bit different to what you normally see on these sort of positions. So for our left centre defensive mid, they're going to be on stay back while attacking and cover wing, not cover centre. And there's a good reason for this, and we will get to that. For the right centre defensive mid, they're going to be unbalanced. Literally everything on balance. Don't touch the instructions on these. As a basic rule of thumb, the idea is here is for Fana. Here is our more defensive centre mid. His job is to win us the ball back. Mateus's job is to distribute it once we've won the ball back. For our left back, they're going to be on balanced and their run type is going to be on overlap. The reason we want this wing back on balanced and on overlap is that this is our most offensive wing back. What they're going to be doing is kind of the first point of the attack starting. They're going to be making overlapping runs. They're going to be involved a lot in the interplay down the left flank, and they're going to be a really strong threat in us getting behind the opponent's defence on the left-hand side. For the right back, this is going to be a more defensive orientated wing back, so we want these on stay back, but we will still keep the overlap instruction just on the pure basis that it's okay for them to push forward a bit, mainly when it's just totally open and okay for them to do so. But the main job for our right back is just to kind of sit a bit deeper and push when necessary to win us the ball back and then just play a safe pass out. For our centre backs, these are just going to be on stay back while attacking, which is the default. We don't want to touch these. As for our goalkeeper, exactly the same. So next, we're going to talk about the sort of players that you want for each position to truly get the most out of the formation. Again, we'll start from the top and work our way back. Striker. Now, I've got Ben Yedder in this team. Personally, the best kind of player to have here is an R9. That is like the dream. That is like the perfect kind of player to have. Essentially, you just want someone that's in the right place at the right time, has great finishing, but the more ability they've got in terms of weak foot and skill moves, the better. Personally, Ben Yedder has a lot going right for him. He has high-low work rates. He does have a 5-star weak foot. He does turn very quickly. But realistically, an R9 more accessibly, and Mbappe, that's the kind of player that you want in this position. For the centre attacking mid, with how this formation plays, this has to be like your best player. Like your absolute best player, the one that you can maneuver with the ball with best, the one that's going to finish really consistently. I honestly prefer like them to have pace as well as strength as well. That's why I've got Cantona in here. He is an absolute dual player for me. He's my favourite player on this year's game for sure. What I would stress with your cam is you definitely want them to have good passing ability, the ability to hit a ball first time to your overlapping wingers. So, like I've got Diaby and Cole. When they're making an offensive run, I want Cantona to be able to ping it to them every time, even if it is first time, even if it's on his weaker foot. Somehow in this formation, the cam seems to score a lot more than the striker. So honestly, just have someone that you really trust in this position. For the left attacking mid and the right attacking mid, the first thing I would say is you just want to make sure that they have got good attacking work rates, so high, medium, or even high, low, just so they're really making offensive runs in behind the defence. I would definitely stress having a left footer on the left and a right footer on the right. The importance of that being that they're able to cut inside and hit Travellas. So specifically as well, an outside of the foot trait on both is like really ideal as well. Diaby doesn't, so that is probably the one thing he is missing for me, which I would want in this position. However, Joe Cole does have the outside of the foot shot trait, and he scores a lot of Travellas for me. He's really, really good at them. It's not just about hitting Travellas, though. Often, the guy on the left will often be on his left foot to shoot. Same with the guy on the right. They're often going to find themselves on their right foot. So if Travellas aren't the sort of thing that you normally go for, I would still kind of stick to that rule, right on the right. left on the left. For your left centre defensive mid, obviously this is your more defensive orientated centre mid. So what you want to be aiming for here is size. You want them to be tall. You want them to have a lot of physical presence. Pace and good defensive stats are ideal. I wouldn't stress too much on the defensive stats being super high though. It is more about just that big frame and the ability to catch people up. So the lengthy running style is always a plus for this position as well. Like any kind of position in the middle of the park, at least a 4-star weak foot is ideal. Anything less than that, you will find when on their weak foot, they will sometimes hit a loose pass, and that can cost you goals as well. For your right centre defensive mid, this is your box to box, so high work rates is perfect. You ideally want somebody with a lot of stamina as well, because this person's not only going to be putting a lot of pressure high up the pitch, but they are going to be tracking back and also winning the ball from deep as well. This is really going to be your workhorse of the team. Additionally to that, you want good passing ability as well, because as I mentioned earlier, Fofana is going to be winning me the ball back. Mateus is generally the guy that's going to be distributing it. For your left back, you want somebody that's definitely got a good presence on the attack. So you want them to have good passing, good dribbling. You want them to be very fast. Stamina is very important as well, because they're going to be doing a lot of running for your team up and down the byline. If they have skill moves or good weak foot, that's a good bonus, but it's not necessary. Ideally, they just need to be fast and have the ability to cut the ball inside for you. In terms of work rates, high, again, like the box-to-box position, is the perfect scenario. But again, so long as they're not like high attacking, low defensive work rates or something really unbalanced, you can't go too far wrong with this. For your right back, you just want somebody that's good defensively, very fast as well, because you don't want to be getting dusted by the likes of a Jarzinho every game. Attacking presence is a bonus, but they're not going to be venturing forward too much, so don't stress too much about this. Just good agility and balance. They turn nice, really good pace, good tackling, decent distribution as well. So just passing stats around the 80 marker above, that's good to go. For your centre backs, there's two basic things I would say here. Make sure that they're very fast, and if they have the lengthy running style, that's a great bonus, because you'll find when people are trying to make those runs in behind, you'll find that the lengthy running style, they'll always catch them up and win the ball back. The second thing is just good defensive AI. So you're going to get the best tackling animations. You're not going to get the ball rebounding back as much. The best way to know if they've got good defensive AI is either look at their defensive stats. Generally, if they're very high, they will naturally move well in game. But also, just look at how obvious the player is. Like if you've got someone like a Maldini, a Van Dijk, these obvious players just have good animations in game anyway. If you're going for someone a bit more obscure that's just been given a boosted card, they normally play a little bit more generic. As for your goalkeeper, whoever works, as always. With goalkeepers, I honestly would say when you're changing your team up, if you've got a goalkeeper that really works, don't compromise them. It is such a big thing finding a goalie in this game that works for you. So when you find one that works for you, don't take them out your team. Ever stick with them and just work a way round keeping them in the team. Something that I didn't mention earlier when doing the player instructions, and that's to do with why they're on cover wing. Because you've got the overlapping wing back, you often find on a counter attack this left side can be open. So having Fofana on cover wing, it helps cover this open space. Mateus, I also keep on cover wing, just so there's not this weird imbalance where one guy's going off to the side, one's sticking in the middle, and then the other side's then open. So I have them both on cover wing for balance, but the specific reason they're there is so you're covering the overlapping wing back. You've got a lot of give and take with this. You've got a balanced centre mid on the side where the wing back stays back, and then you've got a more defensive centre mid on stay back on the side where the wing back commits. So you've got a lot of give and go, and it creates overloads in the attack, but enables you to have numbers back. It's just super effective. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and more than anything, I just hope you enjoy the tactics and hopefully they give you some success in your games. If there's any formations you guys want custom tactics for, let me know down below. I'm more than happy to check it out, see what I can put together. Really appreciate you guys sticking to the end of the video. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel and turn your bell on. Take care, guys.